On today's episode of Jack Talk, we'll discuss expanding our community's influence, the ongoing battle against cancer, and the final points of carpentry. Get comfortable because Jack Talk starts now. All right, welcome back to Jack Talk. On today's episode, we're going to discuss the community, how influences are to change. First of all, we have the president, SFA's president, Jonathan Taylor. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Danielle?
Good. We're glad to have you here. First of all, let's talk about what does the NAACP stand for?
The NAACP stands for National Association for the Advancement of Colored People.
Okay, so why is the NAACP important to the community?
Well, not only has the NAACP been around since 1909 and striving for justice since then, but we continue to be relevant due to the fact that there is still racial injustice among the land. We are a national organization, so we do things all across the nation. Here in Texas, we focus on the things that we find most important for us in Texas, and we let the national office know and the other units around the nation do what they can to pitch in.
Okay, so what is the SFA chapter? What is their goal as a community?
Well, Unit 6812, as we like to call ourselves, 6812 Nation, we are here on campus to make sure that the Nacogdoches community is benefiting not only from each other, but from the African American community. We're not here just for ourselves. We're not here just to advance ourselves, as our organization says, but we're here to serve the community. So a lot of the things that we do as a chapter is things like mentoring, tutoring at the elementary, middle, and high schools. We do community service all around the community, multiple things that just say we care.
Okay, now it's called the Advancement for Colored People, but can more than colored people join this organization?
Yes, actually we have a few multiracial members and some who are just a Caucasian, and there's nothing wrong with that. The organization was officially founded in 1910 in the United States by a Jewish person and 2 white people. So that gives you a little background on where we actually came from.
Okay. I know you guys recently went to Austin.
Yes.
And tell us more about that.
Okay. Well, first I'd like to take a moment to thank the SFA Zetas and the SFA AKAs. They helped us travel there with donations. But our purpose for the trip was to go and advocate for the on-body camera for police officers. A bill that's being worked on by Senator Royce West of Dallas and Representative Eric Johnson. They're working simultaneously in the House and in the Texas Senate to get this bill passed, saying basically that police officers will have to wear cameras on their body, on their persons at all times. The details of the bill are still being worked out, but we're pretty sure at this moment in time, we're pretty sure that the bill will pass.
Okay, so do you feel like people's voices are being heard when it comes to going far as the Capitol, trying to get bills passed, just like you said? So, of course, you're saying the NAACP is the middle ground, but do you feel like you guys are actually making a change?
Right. I feel like we are making a change. One reason is because when you can sit down and have a face-to-face meeting with the person who you elected to basically enact laws, it makes you feel some kind of way. It makes you feel like you really are making a difference when you can sit down with the representative who will say yes or no to a certain bill. Then it turns back on us, the people who were there in the office with him, myself and 3 other constituents from the Texas NAACP here at SFA. We represent not only the NAACP as far as Texas goes, but we represent students, we represent SFA, we represent minorities. So it's a lot weighing on our shoulders. So we have to take into context everyone's opinion. We have to have multiple discussions about the situation where we can take that information and we can think about it and we can work on it and we can figure out the pros and cons and then take our findings and our information to them as representatives, as they are our representative.
Okay. So what kind of Congress do you guys speak with whenever you go to the Capitol and things like that?
Well, we met with our representative, Clardy, and we also met with Senator Whitmire. We also met with Eric Johnson's chief of staff. And the reason why we did that was to get a better understanding of the bill, to get more information that we can pass on. And Senator Whitmire is actually the head of the Criminal Justice Committee. So by meeting with him, we didn't meet exactly with him, we met with his staff, but we were under the assumption that they're very much in support of on-body cameras for these police officers. So,
okay. So what are some things that are coming up for the NAACP in April?
April, all we have planned as of right now is our a play that's called My Brother's Keeper, and it kind of mirrors the My Brother's Keeper initiative that President Obama signed, the executive order he signed into action a little while back. My Brother's Keeper is a play about two young individuals who are minorities who deal with it's based in St. Louis. They deal with police brutality, domestic violence, obsessive force, minority disenfranchisement, multiple things that we see on the daily. And the play really deals with how they deal with that and how what you do every day can determine the outcome of your future.
Okay. So what would you want to say to someone who knows nothing about the NAACP? What can they take from it as a whole?
Good question. For someone who knows nothing about NAACP, I would hints back to the name, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. If you basically see a need, feel a need. If you see there's a part of the community that needs help, it is your duty as a part of the community to help that part of the community. Just because, you can't live in the world by yourself. You need people to interact with. You need people to do things, really, to make the world go round.
Okay, so how can people get involved? How can they get in touch with NAACP?
We have meetings every Tuesday at 7 p.m. in the tiered room. That's the second floor of the Student Center across from the elevators. Okay. So anyone's welcome to join us. We also have our contact information posted on Axis.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
We're glad to have you here. All right. Coming up next, a community member will discuss his efforts in aid in cancer research. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Jack Talk. I'm Jade Blee. Recently, several members of the community collaborated to raise money for cancer research. With me today is one of the race coordinators for the 2015 Journey to a Cure, Lisa Munzingo. How are you doing today, Lisa?
I'm doing well.
I'm good. So, can you tell me a little bit more about the 5K and everything that went into it?
Yes, the Journey to a Cure 5K is to raise money for multiple myeloma. It's all in memory of our dad, John Thomas, who passed away on January 10th, 2014. He actually went through stem cell treatment and all, came through with fine colors, was in remission, and his immune system was low and everything, and he ended up catching pneumonia. And that's what got him. It wasn't really the cancer, so we always say he was a survivor.
Okay. So I hear you tell me about your dad's story, his struggle through with the disease. Can you elaborate on what the disease is?
Yes. Multiple myeloma is an incurable blood cancer that deals with the blood, and it affects your bones, and that's actually how he found out that he had the cancer. In, December 2013, we had presented him for a Christmas present a bench that was made out of his dad's tailgate off of his truck. And on New Year's Eve, that was 2012. And on New Year's Eve 2013, he went to move the bench for a New Year's Eve party. and he hurt his back, and it just never got better. And he went to the doctor and ended up having 6 fractures with the bone, because that's what multiple myeloma does. It makes the bones brittle. So on Valentine's Day is when they actually diagnosed him with the multiple myeloma. So,
sorry
yeah.
about that.
We had actually never heard of multiple myeloma before until he was diagnosed. And now we hear of so many stories from different people.
Yeah, and I had never heard of it either. And when I did my research on it, I saw that there wasn't a cure for it. And I was wondering, like, what other steps beyond the race has your family taken, or will y'all take, to raise money for the Research for the Cure?
Sure. We did a fundraiser at Raising Cane's. We did that, the beginning of March, I believe. And they told us we were actually the most successful fundraiser. And it was just amazing, because we would sit at the drive-thru and say, hey, say you're here for the fundraiser and it'll donate to multiple myeloma. And so many people just reached out to us, and they had been, involved with multiple myeloma themselves, or they actually had the cancer. And it was just amazing to meet, all the people. We also did a fundraiser at Chick-fil-A with cookies. So if you bought cookies, then they would donate. And then actually this Saturday, we're doing a fundraiser with Taco Bueno. They're going to donate a percentage to multiple myeloma. So we're excited about that.
That's great. I had the pleasure of coming to the race and being seeing all the atmosphere, and it was wonderful. And I was wondering, what all did it take to put that race together? Like, what were the steps?
It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of work. But we had lots of help from the city, the Nacogdoches Police Department helping out, and then the Helping House also was a huge help, because they do a 5K each year too. So they helped us with any questions and stuff that we had. But we set it up with active.com, and then of course social media. That was the key right there, was getting it out there and on Facebook and stuff.
And I've been a part of a 5K, and I know that there's 5Ks that happen annually, or they bring it across the state. What do y'all plan to do to make it, keep going on and make it bigger and bigger?
Yes, we definitely want to do this annually. Which is why the shirts say first annual, because it's going to keep on going and keep getting bigger. We actually, as soon as the 5K was over on Saturday, the family got together and we discussed different things that we're going to do next year to add to the event to make it even more fun. So we are very excited, and we may not do it in March. The reason for doing it in March this year was March is Multiple Myeloma Month. Okay. So that was the reason, but March is a tough month. There's a lot going on in March. So we're thinking maybe closer to summer.
Okay.
But we'll see.
And also, when I was there, what I really enjoyed is, because when I've run 5Ks before, I run the 5K, then I go home. But y'all had activities afterwards, like the Zumba in the photo booth and the signing of the banner. What made y'all want to do these activities to put light on such a heavy situation? Yes,
well, we, Zumba with Misty, I do Zumba, and so I know the Color Run also did Zumba after their 5K, and we just had so much fun with that. And Misty is so energetic and just gets the crowd going that it was just so much fun. The signing of the finish line, that was just something that one of my sisters thought of, and the Color Run, they throw the color out at you, and we just wanted to do something different. And that's something that we'll keep every year, and people can just add to it. And then, just fill it up, fill that finish line up.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Well, with all the excitement of the race, what would you say was your most rewarding moments of the race?
Just being able to send that final check to Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation to find a cure. That's what our goal was, and that's the most, happy moment of the entire thing, is doing that, and then of course all in memory of our dad. So,
and
yes.
how do you feel? Because when I was there, I feel like it had an impact on the community in whole. How do you feel like it impacted the community, Nacogdoches community?
I think it did impact. We had so many that came. One gentleman, and he was actually the first one that came through the finish line. He came through and he had been impacted. He had known someone that had multiple myeloma, and he was actually there for another 5K that was canceled. And so he was looking for something to do. And so he came through and he was our first runner through, and then even went a second lap. I mean, he was just, it was awesome. And just to see, you know, that motivation in others is just wonderful. It's a great feeling.
And for people that need advice on like how to get involved or want to get involved with your family on helping, what information can you give them?
Sure. We have a Facebook page. It's called Journey to a Cure 5K. So they can go and like that page, and it's got all the information, and of course we'll post for next year too on that page.
Well, good. Well, thanks for coming to visit us today and
Thank
tell us all
you.
about everything. After the break, we're going to have some fun with custom woodwork. You won't want to miss it.
Hello, I'm Christian Davis. It's no surprise that Nacogdoches is filled with talent and creative people. However, when I want a piece of cool art, I go to a shop. My guest, on the other hand, picks up a piece of wood. Here to teach us a little bit about carpentry, we have the owner of Wood by Wood, Derek Pivotal. Welcome to Jack Talk. How are you doing today, Derek?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Well, my company is Wood by Hand, and I basically make custom woodworking. I take all sorts of different kinds of pieces, and I'm constantly creating different stuff. I have a kind of a artistic nature about me, so I'm most at home whenever I'm creating something.
Okay. So do you have an artistic background, or where does that come from exactly?
Actually, not so much. My whole family is very artistic.
Oh, okay.
My brother is an amazing photojournalist, and my mom is very, very, very creative. So it kind of runs in the family. I'd always looked for what my medium was. You know, my brother could pick up pen and paper and draw anything. He could sculpt anything. And I was always kind of in his shadow, so I wanted to create something. And it just took me a lot of years to find what my medium was. Just whenever I found it, it just kind of took off from there. So
how did you get into carpentry and woodwork?
Oddly enough, it's kind of a weird story, is that my background, I went into nursing. I was actually a trauma and critical care registered nurse for about 15 years. And I'm from Southeast Texas. I was living in Beaumont and had bought my first house and made one house payment on it. And about that time, Hurricane Rita came through and cut it in half. And there was this influx of contractors and labor that came into that area, but we couldn't find any of them. And how it turned out is that insurance came out, and I was able to buy all of the tools and buy all the material, and did a whole lot of research and repaired my house myself. So I ended up with a whole bunch of tools in the house. So I bought a little building, and I would go out at night and tinker, and began to make stuff, and found how much I enjoyed it. And it really just kind of blossomed from there. So it really kind of a tragic event, but turned into something amazing.
Of course.
And it's just, you know, all my neighbors started liking my stuff, buying my stuff, and it's just, I don't even nurse anymore, so I just pretty much do woodworking all the time now, and it's a great thing. I mean, I enjoy it. It helps me, so.
Of course. It's kind of like a good thing came out of a bad situation.
Oh, absolutely.
So what kind of things do you make? I know you brought some examples with you of some of the things that you made.
You know, a lot of my woodworking really also kind of centered around, I don't have children, but my brother and sister-in-law, they started having kids, and my nephew Finn, I was able to start making toys for him. And I wanted to make healthy, conscious toys that didn't have any kind of crazy finishes or anything like that on them. So I started making stuff, and I get to make a lot of toys because now my brother has 3 kids.
Of course.
And I get to make all sorts of stuff. I've got a niece and a nephew that's got a birthday coming up in a week, so I got to make a cricket, a pull toy cricket. This is for Harper. This is for my niece, but this one actually.
Oh, amazing. So do you have any like engineering background or something? That looks
Absolutely
kinda-
not. No, this was a lot of it was a lot of trial and error and figuring things out. And I do a lot of research online. But yeah, no engineering background. I have no formal training. I do a lot of just a lot of reading and research and trying to figure things out by myself. But like this toy here, I made out of walnut and maple and South American Purple Heart.
Okay. So when you get those kind of woods, are like, do you buy them domestically or do you get them imported?
No, well, there's a select few vendors that I purchase woods from, and I purchase from them specifically because they are FSC certified, and what that is they're part of the Forestry Stewardship Council, and what that is a global initiative to battle against deforestation. And so those woods are harvested properly, and that's why I use those. So this is I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. So this is Direwolf from Game of Thrones. My dad turned me on to that show, so made this one for him.
Oh, well, to my understanding, so you don't have a storefront, correct?
I do not have a storefront. No, I pretty much everything that I make is I work from home. My workshop is at the house, and so everything that I sell is either through Facebook or we just launched our Etsy storefront. So that's how people pretty much find me. Is they go on our Facebook page, Wood by Hand, and then a lot of the stuff that I make we put on Etsy.
Okay.
So we've also been going out to the local farmers market and getting out into the community that way.
So what are some other events they can catch you if they like your work and really want to get some
We
special things?
just got approved for the Nacogdoches Blueberry Festival, so we're going to be out there. Nacogdoches is also having their first annual Geeks, Games, and Gadgets event, and that's going to be in July, so we hope to be out there for that.
Okay. So if they do want to get in contact with you, how can they get in contact with you?
The best way is through our Facebook. All of our contact information is on there. Wood by Hand LLC. If you search that on Facebook, you can find us.
And Etsy?
And also on Etsy. Absolutely.
So they just type in your, what do they type in to get
Wood
to
by
it?
Hand.
Wood
You
by
can
Hand?
search Wood by Hand or Wood by Hand LLC, limited liability company.
All right. Thank you so much for coming to talk to us, Mr. Pavita.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, I would like to thank all of our guests for appearing on today's show. Thank you so much for coming in to Jack Talk. I'm Christian Davis. Thank you for watching.